Hey everybody. I'm sorry, excuse me. Alrighty, so we, for those of you who caught the really quickie live, I was just being silly. I wanted to see how the live worked. I haven't done live in forever, so my oven is now hot for those of you who missed it. The other day I made oatmeal cookies and I just stuck them in the freezer and so I could just pull out a few to cook at a time. So my oven's now at 350 and we're just gonna throw it in there. Okay, so we've set the timer for about 10 minutes. Usually it takes about 12 or 13, but I like to check it depending on, you know, everybody's oven is a little bit different, so you just don't know. So anyways, welcome back to Penny Cook's Mom's Cookbook. And today we are on an episode, whatever it is, and we are making Mexican rice and Fideo. But in actuality, this is an Fideo recipe. So 1 cup rice. Mom liked to use Mahatma long grain, and this is medium grain. Word, it doesn't matter, but anyway, so you need some rice, or 4 Fideo coils that have been broken into pieces. Now I could not find Fideo coils because I went to a gringo store. If I had gone to a store a la Mexicana, I would have been able to find the Fideo in coils. So unfortunately, this is all I could find, which is vermicelli Fideo, which is the same thing. It's just already broken up. 2.5 cups of water and 2 bouillon cubes or chicken stock. So I have 2.5 cups of warm water here, and I have some good old chicken bouillon cubes. I normally use the powder because that seems to work really well. I really like I've mentioned before, I really like the Chinese powder, but Mom said cubes, so we're going to use cubes. Then she says that 1 clove of garlic diced, which is this little pile right here. And then she says 2 large tomatoes chopped, or a half small can of tomato sauce. Well, I did not have a large tomato, but I had a medium tomato, and that is cut up over here. And I have a small can of tomato sauce, and I'm just going to use the whole thing because you know why? It's my kitchen. I can do what I want. All right, so she says a half of a small onion chopped or diced, optional. I can't imagine Fideo without onions, so that just doesn't make any sense to me. And 2 tablespoons of oil. So the recipe says heat oil in heavy skillet. Can you see that? Yeah. Heavy skillet? Yeah, we're going to be over there in a minute. So, that was my birthday present. Yes, for those of you who didn't know, I just turned 61. I know, time flies when you're having fun. So, in a heavy skillet, add rice or Fideo. So, heat oil in heavy skillet. Add rice or Fideo and saute until golden. Add garlic and onion, mix well. Add liquid and tomatoes, mix well. Bring to a boil, lower heat, and simmer. If cooking rice, cover and cook 20 minutes or till done. If cooking Fideo, cook uncovered until moisture is absorbed. Note, you might have to add some more liquid, so check for doneness before serving. So, anyway, so that's Mom's recipe, and that's totally fine. But I moved to Texas, and so here in Texas, we do a little bit differently. We do something that we call Fideo Loco. So, join me as we trapse through the wonderful world of Fideo Loco. So, Fideo Loco is Fideo soup, I guess is kind of the easiest way to say it. It is literally all the good stuff that you have in a Mexican restaurant just thrown into Fideo. So, I've seen it with corn. I've seen it made with beans. I've seen it made with hamburger. Seen it made with frozen mixed veggies. You know, like I said, it's whatever's in the kitchen. So in this case, I'm going to be doing zucchini, corn, and I don't know, should I do beans? Should I do beans? Yeah, sure, why not? I'll do beans. And I already have some pork over there in my birthday pan, already browned. So this is really a really good one-pot meal too. So I'll show you how you make it all one pot. And so in a second, I'm just going to move you over there. So, but I'm going to have to put you on my my tripod so I can do this relatively hand-free. I just wanted to have everything ready before I flip to part 2. So be right back. Okay, everybody, so welcome back while I cook up the Fideo. So what I've got here in the pan is I've got some pork meat, because I'm going to make Fideo Loco versus what my mom said in her cookbook, which was just straight on Fideo. But I'm going to make Fideo Loco because I need to leave my family a nice hearty meal. So that's what I'm going to do. So anyways, as you can hear, it's a little bit sizzly in there. And there's enough fat in the pan from when I cooked the pork that I don't need to add the 2 tablespoons of oil that Mom said in her cookbook, just because there's enough oil in here to brown the Fideo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little space for the Fideo. And for those of you who don't know what Fideo is, it's just vermicelli. Can you see that? It's just really, really angel hair pasta is really what it is. And you're going to just put it in there and let it brown. So when you're making Mexican rice, it's the same deal. You're going to just have rice in there instead of the Fideo. So I'm going to just kind of gently saute it over here in the area that I have for it, and occasionally give the pork a little stir. And what I'm looking for is for the pasta to change color. It's going to get golden and brown. As the first phase that it gets is it kind of gets like a little white on it, and that's because the flour is denaturing, or the flour is doing whatever cooking does to flour. So okay, so we're still sauteing a little bit. We're not quite to golden brown. I did add just like a half a teaspoon, like a half a tablespoon of oil to just kind of expedite the browning, because I just didn't have enough, I didn't have enough oil in here, so it was just a little too dry. So we are just going to keep on stirring. Now the reason that you don't put the onions and the garlic at the same time you're browning is because they take longer. The Fideo takes longer than the onions, and then you don't want it to be unpleasant by it overcooking and getting burnt, so you don't want that. So we are still sauteing. We are getting a little bit of golden brown going on, but we're not quite ready yet. Cookies are done. So let's go grab those cookies. Now I'm going to mix everything together. I better get those cookies out before they become Creole Cajun blackened. So hold on just a second. We have cookies. Okay. So, Mom says that once everything's golden brown and delicious, then the next thing that you need to do is add your onion and garlic. So, we are definitely in the golden brown and delicious phase. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of hard to show you. But see how we have some golden brown bits and then some getting there kind of bits? So, that's looking really, really good. Now, Mom says, saute till golden, add garlic and onion, mix well. So here's my garlic and onion. We're going to throw that in there, and we're going to mix well. So you're just going to cook it for like maybe just a couple of minutes until it's a little wilty and fragrant. So, do you want real time, or do you want me to cut it out and come back? You know, okay, we'll go for real time. So, anyways, I'll tell you about the first time I had Fideo Loco. So, I personally like Fideo a lot. I think it's really, really yummy. And one of my favorite little taquerias that I used to go to all the time with my coworkers had on special this thing called Fideo Loco. And I'm like, what's a Fideo Loco? Because we don't have that in California. That's a totally Tex-Mex thing. And the Fideo Loco comes to my table, and it's Fideo soup. So it's like a really, really watered down Fideo, but it had all kinds of stuff in it. It had meat, and it had corn, and it had canned beans, and all kinds of yummy stuff. So my onions and garlic are smelling yummy. Yummy, 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 yummy. So Mom says, mix well. Okay, so add liquid and the tomatoes. All right, so we've got the liquid, and we got our bouillon. And so, remember I said I was just going to add all the tomato. Now, one of the things that, you know, us no waste people do is that we're going to rinse this out with water. And because we're making this a little on the soupy side, because we're making the Fideo Loco, it's okay that we have more liquid than what Mom's recipe calls for. So we're going to mix that up in there. And she also says, throw in the tomatoes. Well, in this case, we are not only doing tomatoes, but we're throwing in zucchini, because we're making loco. And we have some fresh corn on the cob. I'm going to throw that in. And we're just going to let this cook. So it cooks for about 20 minutes or so for all of the moisture to get absorbed and for us to have a tasty dish. Because I've got the zucchinis in there and because it's Fideo, I am going to put the lid on this one. Because Mom's recipe says that on the Fideo version, you don't use the lid, but on the rice version, you do. But because we have the zucchini in there, we want them to have a nice flavor. So, the last thing that I want to mention, though, is that Mom doesn't have this in her cookbook, but she should, because it just adds an extra layer to it, and that's just adding a pinch of comino. So, crushed comino. So, anyways, I'm going to add that. We're going to let this cook, and we'll see you in about 20 minutes. Okay, so we're kind of simmering away. I don't know if you can see, but there's like about a half a teaspoon, or about a teaspoon of comino. That's what you want to use. And that gives it that Mexican flavor. And then also, I've added a can of kidney beans. You can add pinto, you can add whatever you happen to have. And we're just going to let that just get all simmery and happy. And at this point, I'm going to taste it because I'm going to see what we might be missing. We might not have enough garlic. We might not have enough, you know, Tex-Mex flavor. You can also add a packet of taco seasoning if you want. We don't talk about that, but you can. Okay, so the bouillon is giving it plenty of salt. It needs a little something, not quite what. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with some garlic salt. It does have plenty of salt, but it just needs an extra layer of something. Not much, just a little tiny bit. See, our pasta is getting soft. Again. Yep, that's what it needed, just a little tiny bit. So that's it. So we're going to put the lid on. We're going to let this puppy cook. And should be ready in about 15 minutes. All right, guys, we're done. So it's just this nice soupy yum yum. So that's it. Fideo Loco.